It's possible for you to write your book this fall, to hold your manuscript in your hands. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today, how to do this. You are in the right place. Housekeeping wise, I want you to know that I am not in a hurry. I'm not in a hurry. And so if you're freaking out about the timing and you got to go, it's never going to get done. Okay. Be present with me. Whatever you have coming up in 45 minutes from now, just give yourself a little bit of grace and a little bit of space to be fully present. Your book is worth it. Your writing is worth it. Type worth it in the chat if you're with me. Your book is worth you spending an hour with me. Okay. An hour with me. And the number one question I get when people come to my training like this, especially if it feels like, oh, where did I even get this email? Or how did I hear about this guy? Or like, why, how did I even get here? The number one question I get is this guy going to try to sell me something? Right? Is this some sort of a trick? It's not a trick. But yes, there will be an invitation. I'm going to invite you at the end of this call to join something called a cohort. A cohort. Type cohort in the chat if you're with me. A cohort. The way a cohort works is it's a group of writers that are working on their book together. You work on your book and your other cohort members work on their book, but together there's accountability. So yes, I am going to invite you at the end. And yes, there is a tuition to be part of the cohort, just like getting your master's degree, just like getting a certification. I used to be a teacher and I had to pay for my teacher certification, right? It's fair. Jesus said a worker is due his wages. So yes, there's a cohort. And at the end of the call, I'm going to tell you about the cohort. Does that sound fair? Type fair if that sounds fair in the chat. Okay. I don't want you to feel tricked or pressured, but I do want to call out the dream that you've had for so many years. You've dreamed about writing a book for so many years, and maybe you just need a coach and maybe you just need a cohort. And that's really the reason I'm here, is because I don't want you to go to the grave with your song still in your heart. I don't want you to go to the grave with your song still in your heart. There's two personal friends I have. One was a family member who passed away this summer, and neither one of them wrote their book. And so my life mission is for you to publish your book before you go to the grave. Does that sound fair? If you're with me, type with you in the chat. I'm with you. Okay. I'm with you. Good. Awesome. I'm so glad that you're here. Yeah. Awesome. Well, if you haven't introduced yourself yet, go ahead and say hello in the chat. Let me know where you're calling in from. The question I asked you was, tell me about your kids. Do you have kids in school? Are they grown and flown? Are you, empty nester? Or no kids at all? Like, as we think about the fall and falling into our writing, a lot of times we kind of got to get our kids going before we can take care of our dreams. Right. And so this is the time for you to fall into writing and to get this thing started. So that's why I'm here today. I'm so glad that you're here. You're in the right place. Okay. So we took care of some of this housekeeping already. So let's get settled. Tell me where you're from. We already did that. All right. I want you to stay to the end. I'm going to give you a free bonus. At the end, I'm going to give you something free. So yes, it's my bribe for you to stay. Stay to the end. Okay. Stay with me. I want to make sure you get a lot of value. We'll be just about an hour, a little bit over an hour, but your book is worth it. Your book is worth you being here and sticking around. And then finally, close all the other tabs. If you've got other tabs going on, you've got other screens going on, you're multitasking. What I want to encourage you to do is take your laptop or take your phone and go sit somewhere quiet and grab some a notebook, paper, remember that, and a pen, and take notes as we go. Because the more that you engage with me, the more that value you're going to get. The more value you're going to get. Is that a deal? Type deal if you're with me. Is that a deal? Awesome. I'm always looking for people who are willing to do the work. That's what I'm looking for. And there's a lot of people who are willing to be entertained, but not as many people who are willing to do the work. And I'm here for you if you're here to actually do the work. That's right. Awesome. Okay. So I'm so glad that you're here. Some of the best things in life we fell into. We didn't plan them. We didn't earn them. We stumbled into them and they became the best thing. I don't know about you. That's definitely my story of meeting my wife. We've been married for 24 years now, the incredible Julie, and absolutely amazing. And it was like, I feel like I fell into it, but really it was a God thing, right? Do you agree? There's things in life that happen that you're like, oh, what? That must have been God. I try to give God credit for everything, right? Because the Bible says God is working all things together for good. And so maybe the reason you're here today is because He's working in your heart a story for you to write. You with me? Maybe He's working something in your heart and in your mind for you to actually do it, for you actually to write. I love it. I'm so, so glad you're here. So I want you to fall into writing. I don't want you to feel forced, not white knuckle it, but I want it to feel easy. Writing can feel so hard, but it doesn't have to be so hard. It doesn't have to be so hard. So I'm so glad you're here. Here's where we're going to go. I'm going to ask you some questions. Then I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth the whole time, but I'm going to really make sure that you know exactly what it takes to actually write your book, not just talk about writing your book, but actually writing your book. And then I'm going to give you a way to do it before the year ends. And I've already told you what it is. It's the cohort. We have a fall cohort that's starting in Hope Books. In Hope Books, we have groups of authors that start together. They don't all finish together. Some go faster and some go slower. We all go at our own pace, but they start together. And our onboarding call is coming up this week. It's coming up this week. And so I'm going to invite you at the end to join us in our cohort. Okay. Yeah. I'm so glad that you're here. Yeah. Okay. If you could use your real name, I don't like people that make snarky comments in the chat. So use your real name or I'll kick you out. There you go. It's not just for, thank you, Douglas. Please be a little nicer in the chat. Thank you so much. I'm not for everybody. Actually, you know what? I'm going to pause for a second. I'm going to address this real quick. I'm a Bible guy. I believe that the word of the Lord is living and active, sharper than any double-edged sword. I built my life on the word of God, and I'm going to quote Bible a lot. So if you're a Bible person, type Bible in the chat. I'm a Bible person. You are allowed to be here. It's a big tent. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm glad you're here. But I am not ashamed of the gospel. And in fact, I believe that is part of the Great Commission to go and share the message that God has written in your life and in your heart. And so I have very low tolerance for people who are a little snarky in the chat. I want you to be here to encourage each other, right? The Bible says, encourage one another and build each other up. And so if that's not your thing, other people can help you. But I'm really here to champion Christian believers to let them know that their story matters and that there's a lost and dying world that needs more hope. If you're with me, type hope in the chat. I just believe that for such a time as this, that you are called to be salt and light, and that you sharing your message is one of the most powerful ways to live out the Great Commission. I didn't have a slide for that, but I just want you to hear my heart, right? I love it. I'm so glad that you're here. Awesome. I love it. Wow. Welcome, welcome. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. 124 people. I'm so honored to be with you. I'm so honored to be with you. And I want you to know that this really does matter, that your story matters and that your message matters. You know, it's funny. I met with one of my mentors on Thursday, and he said, we were talking about the difference between somebody who believes they're a writer and somebody who doesn't believe they're a writer. And he was talking about how like so many people that think they're a writer or think they aren't a writer, it's because you have to be famous. You know, you have to have this big platform, and you have this like air about you, like, oh, like that's a special person. And I know that God uses ordinary people. And so my whole philosophy is faithful over famous. So if you believe that too, faithful over famous, right? Faithful over famous, that you being faithful in taking the talent that the Lord has given you, which is part of your story, and sharing it with other people. It's not about being a celebrity. It's not about selling 1 million copies of your book, but it's about being faithful over famous. I love it. Yeah. If you're with me, type faithful over famous. I'm going to get you to type a lot because we're interactive. I wish I could talk to all of you in person on this call. But I just get to read your chat. So glad you're here. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Okay. First question is, how long have you dreamed about publishing a book? How long have you dreamed about publishing a book? Type your answer in the chat. How long have you dreamed about publishing a book? Yeah, let me see if I can actually copy that. There you go. Yeah. Be specific. Was it back in for me, my story really was 2002. We got married. Julie and I got married in 2002, so it would have been 2001. I was a first year classroom teacher, and there was a student in my classroom, Lisa. I still remember her name, and I was teaching at a public school, and the language the kids were using in my classroom, like she was this Christian kid. I knew her from church, from Awanas, and she was like, you can just see she was so uncomfortable in being in that classroom. And I thought, I bet you if she had like a devotional to encourage her as a Christian kid in a public school, like how could I encourage her? Is there one? So I went to the Christian bookstore, which they used to have back then. I don't know if you remember those. And I looked for a devotional for Christian kids in public school, and there was none. And I was like, oh, I could write that. So I put a book proposal together, and I sent it out to a bunch of publishers, 17 publishers. And I remember about 3 weeks later, I came home from a long day of teaching 8th grade middle school, 7th and 8th grade. I came home and I opened the mailbox, and there was a letter or an envelope with the logo of one of those publishers on the envelope. And I thought, this is my moment. So that goes all the way back to 2001. This is my moment. I'm going to write my devotional. A publisher is going to believe in me and going to publish my book. And so I invited my family over for dinner to show them the good news, And I had this envelope. I hadn't opened yet because I was so excited. I wanted everybody to see me open it. And so we had dinner, and I said at the end of dinner, oh, everybody, I have a surprise. You know, that devotional book for middle school Christian kids I've been thinking about writing for a long time. I just heard back from a publisher, and they were like, no way. They're so excited. So I stood up in front of everybody, and I pulled out the envelope, and I ripped it open. I pulled out the letter, and I read out loud, "Dear Sir or Madam." And it was a form letter, not just a form letter, but it was a photocopied form letter that wasn't even straight. It was like angled. Like the thing had been photocopied like 8 times. So it was like hard to read, and just rejected. And that was back in 2001. So that's a long time. So I just want you to know, if you've been dreaming about writing a book for a long time and it hasn't worked out, it can still. And maybe this fall is the time for you to do it. But in order to do it, you might have to change your strategy, which I needed to do. And I can tell the rest of that story another time. But I did end up writing several books. I've now written 6 books and published 6 books. Awesome. I'm so glad that you're here. Wow. Oh my goodness. If you're just joining us, make sure you introduce yourself in the chat. So the question was, how long have you dreamed about publishing a book? 5 years ago, Joy says. Mike says, actually 2009. I love it. Since first grade, 20 years ago, 15 plus years, 16 years, almost 40 years. Yeah. You're all welcome here. You are all welcome. My focus today really is on somebody who hasn't written their book yet. So, but I'm so glad that you're here. So how long have you dreamed about writing your book? If you haven't answered it, type it in the chat. I would love to know, how long have you dreamed about writing a book? If you haven't shared in the chat yet, I just want to challenge you. Faithful and small leads to more opportunities. So even just something as small as typing in the chat matters. It really does matter. This is not a pre-recorded training. I really want to engage with you. So engage back with me as well. I think that's a really important part of the process. Yeah. If you want to just be entertained, go on YouTube. But if you want to really get trained and encouraged and challenged, get in the chat and be with me. Awesome. Yeah. 40 years or more, Cicely says. Melissa, since childhood. Kathy, 10 years. Brittany, 30 years, my friend. 30 years. Yes. Yeah. No, Louise, you can still be here, but I might share a strategy that's a little different than the way that you did it. So just be here to encourage those that haven't. Okay. Awesome. So glad you're here. So that's the first question. Second question is, how many books do you want to publish in your lifetime? How many books do you want to publish in your lifetime? So think about, one day, it's your last day, right? We're all going to have our last day, whether it's when Christ returns or when you breathe your last breath. But either way, there's going to be a last day. Maybe for me, it's 85 years old or something. Let's say 88. So I turned 48 this summer. So I have 40 years left. So over the 40 years I have left, how many total books would I love to publish? What about you? Yeah. Awesome. Now, if you're blaming God right now, come on, engage with me. He has given you what you need. Now, what is your dream? What's your dream? So what is it? So is it 3? Is it 10? Yeah, of course, Lord willing, right? Let's just say that from the beginning, of course, Lord willing. But yeah, let's really engage and be here. So, how many do you dream about writing in your lifetime? I love it. 4, 3, 5, 3, 7, 3, 10, 20 plus 2. Wow, dozens. I love it. I can't want many, but God may have me only. Yeah, just type what you actually want, right? The Bible says if you're struggling with this to answer, some of you are a little struggling with this. You're like, what if God doesn't want me to write this? What about this and all that? You're so stuck in your head. So here's my challenge to you. The Bible says, delight yourself in the Lord, which you're clearly doing, and He will give you the desires of your heart. It's not wrong to say, I'd like to publish 5 books, right? That's not a sin to say, this is what I'd love to. This would be cool, right? Yeah, I love it. Okay, awesome. If you haven't typed how many books you'd love to publish in your whole life, write it in the chat. Write it in the chat. Come on, Tina. Let's use a number instead of that. Let's use a real number. Okay, so that's number 2. How many books do you want to publish in your lifetime? I love it. Thank you, Tina. 20. Oh my goodness. Okay, question number 3. How many books have you published so far? How many books have you published so far? So if I went on Amazon right now, and I typed in your name or I typed in your topic, how many books could I find that you have written and published? Not a book sitting in a drawer or a book in your head or a book on Google Documents, but an actual book that somebody can purchase right now. That's a tough question, isn't it? I'm so glad you're here. Please hear encouragement from me, even though the truth sometimes can hurt a little bit. Yeah, I love it. Okay. So yeah, there's one number I'm seeing a lot, which is I haven't done 1 yet, right? So it's typing 0 in the chat. So I'm so glad, especially for those of you that said 0. That's really why I'm here. So how many books have you published? How many books do you dream about publishing? How many books have you published so far? Okay. And then my fourth question is, how old are you today? I'm gonna tell you, I told you I'm 48. So I told you my age, you tell me your age, right? So how old are you right now? Okay. There you go. Those are my 4 questions. Now let's just analyze these answers real quick. This is the training part. My wife was a math teacher. I'm not going to do any math. I'm more of the English person, but we've got a little bit of math to do. Okay. Fill in these 4 answers. Fill in these 4 answers right here. And if you really want to engage, you get a star sticker award, a star student award for actually typing it all out. These are the 4 kind of fill in the blank. So years dreaming, you'd say 20 years dreaming. Then how many books would you love to publish? How many books are wanted? I would want to publish 5 books. So 20 years dreaming, 5 books wanted. How many books are actually written? By written, I mean published. I don't mean I wrote half of one here and half of one there and half of one there. I mean like you can actually, somebody can get it right now. And then the 4th number, yeah, you can do the number, comma, number, comma, number, comma, number. And then the last one is how old are you today? Yeah. Okay. It's good. Yeah, I just want to give you some grace and some space to fill that in. I love it. Those are the 4 most important numbers. Those are the 4 most important numbers right there. And I've found from 11 years now, going in my 12th year of being a writing coach, you've got to face the truth from the beginning. When you face the truth, it'll set you free. I don't have a slide for this, but I want to give a little bonus. If you want a bonus, type bonus in the chat. If you want a little extra bonus, type bonus in the chat. Okay. So here's something I've discovered after working like literally with thousands of writers, and we've published 134 books. So what's the difference, Brian? What's the difference between people who actually do it, actually publish their book, and people who never do it? Do you want to know? Type a question mark if you want to know the answer. What's the difference between people who actually publish their book and people who never do it? Here it is right here. You ready? When I ask a question like this, you either share a stat or a story. That's it. A stat or a story. The other way to say it is a little bit more aggressive, a little harsher, is you either share a fact or you share fiction. Oh, that's pretty hard, right? I know that's a little tough, right? Here's the fact. The fact is, I've been dreaming for 20 years. I would love to have 5 books published. I have zero today, and I'm 60 years old. That's the fact. The fiction is, oh, and it's because my mom wasn't nice to me, and it's because I've been really busy, and it's because I went through a divorce, and it's because I don't have any money, and it's because of my kids, and because and because and because. If you have been becausing your book to death, type because in the chat. Because like it's because of this and because of that and because of that and because of that and because of that and because of that. And what I call that is a story. You can have a stat or you can have a story. That's it. You can have a stat or a story. And I know so many of us have the because, and I did for years, right? The reason I never published my book is because 17 rejection letters. The reason I've never published my book is because I'm so busy. The reason I never published my book is because I have some illness, because I don't have money, because of my dad, because of, do you hear this? Is this you? Type because if that's you. You have all these becauses. You have all these becauses. Yeah. Okay. I see you and I hear you, and I'm not judging you, but I am saying it's time to face the truth, because what will happen with the truth? The Bible says the truth will, type in the chat if you're with me, the truth will set you free. And I know some of you really need to be freed right now, right? You really need to be freed. And so I want to help free your book and get your book out this fall. Get your, not your book out, but get your words written, get your story written this fall. Okay. And so I know that was like pretty hard, but that's the kind of accountability and coaching you need. If you need that kind of a coaching and accountability, say, I need that. Like, I need that. I need somebody to tell me the truth. I need somebody to hold my hand. I need somebody to encourage me, but also need somebody to tell me the truth. Yeah, if that's you, because I know that's not everybody. Some of you are going to try to do it on your own, and you're going to end up, a year older with no book. But some of you are like, I actually need somebody to hold me accountable. Yes, that's right. That's the truth. So the truth is, this is like the hard part. I actually wasn't going to even type it on the slide, because this is the hard part. The hard part, my friends, is that 0 right there that you wrote will not change if you keep doing the same thing. It will not change. But it can change with the 3 things I'm going to share with you today. Okay. So we're going to move forward. We're going to keep going, because I want to share with you exactly what you need in order to actually do it. As somebody who's written 6 books and helped to publish over 100, this is actually what you need. Okay. There's 3 things that you need to actually publish your book. I'm going to tell you all 3, but telling you what they are is not going to get them done. And so my disclaimer before I even share you what they are you willing to actually do it? Or are you someone who just talks about it? So I want you to type one of 2 words. Either type work or type wait. Those are your 2 options. Am I willing to do the work, or am I going to find another reason to wait? Another reason to wait. And I'm not here to judge you, okay? But I am here to encourage you that it's time to stop waiting. It's time to stop waiting. Today is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Today is the day for you to start writing your book. There's a reason that you showed up on this call right now, and I'm going to trust that you were led to be here, and it's providential that you're here. And so I'm going to really lean in to actually help you get this done. So if you're a waiter and you're like, I'm just going to wait, I'm not for you. Okay. But if you are someone who's like, I know that my time is short, and that 0 that I had to write down, that Brian made me write down, it's going to stay a 0 until I die, unless something changes. And so I'm looking for people that are willing to do the work. I can't work with people who don't do the work. So if you're with somebody who will do the work, type the word work in the chat. I love it. I'm so glad. I know we've been going really fast. If you would like me to text you this recording, put your phone number in the chat. I'm trying not to use email as much. I don't know about you. I get so many emails. So if this is important enough for me to text you the link to this recording, because I'm only going to send it to you if you type in that phone number. We're going to text you the recording so you can really be here and not feel like you have to take all the notes. Yeah, type your phone number in the chat so we can text it over to you. Okay, awesome. So one of my favorite verses, but a hard verse in the Bible, is in James 1:22-24. It says, someone who hears the truth and does nothing with it is like a person who looks in a mirror, walks away, and forgets what they look like. And my friend, this right here is what I see all the time. Going to a training and then another year goes by. And so don't be that person. Be the person who actually does the work. Be a person who actually does the work. Yeah, you can, Jackie, you figured it out. I got you. No problem. Okay, so let's get to it. Here are the three things that you need. Here are the three things that you need. Okay, I'm going to text you the recording of this if you would like the recording. Yeah, just put your phone number in the chat. Here are the three things you need: a clear goal, a real deadline, and a support structure. I'm going to walk you through these. Number one, you need a really clear goal. A goal is a dream with a deadline. A goal is a dream with a deadline. You need a clear goal. Here we go. A goal is a dream with a deadline. Now, friend, you have had this dream for a long time. And you told me at the beginning, right? How long have you dreamed? About 12 years or 22 years. The problem is you've never had a deadline. So the first thing that you need is an actual deadline. You need a real deadline. That's the first thing that you need. You need that goal. Okay. You need that goal. So what I'm going to recommend, I'm going to tell you a little story here. Oh, the cover didn't come through. Let me just share this right here. Okay, here you go. I've got a book that I always wanted to write. And I actually have the cover now. I didn't have this when I made these slides, but check this out. Okay, I've got the actual book in my hand right here. This is a book that I dreamed about writing for a really long time, for 25 years. Okay, for 25 years. Type 25 if you're with me. For 25 years. Every Sunday for 25 years, I called my grandmother. Her name's Mary, and we call her Nanny. So my grandfather passed away in the year 2000. And so for 25 years now, it's on 26. I just call her on Sunday, just see how she's doing, right? And we built this relationship over 25 years. And I wanted to write a book to encourage other grandmas that their prayers matter and that their relationship with their grandson matters. So I wanted to write a book called Sundays with Nanny, which I actually am holding in my hand right now. Okay. If you're a grandma, type grandma in the chat. I'm a grandma. Some of you are grandmas. Amazing. Wouldn't that be so cool? So I wanted to write a book kind of in her honor, but to encourage other grandmas. Here's the thing. When she was turning 90, I wanted to write the book. When she turned 91, I wanted to write the book. When she turned 92, I wanted to write the book. I had the dream of writing the book when she turned 93 and when she turned 94 and when she turned 95. And guess what? She turned 99 years old. And I took that dream and actually made it a goal. I told my team, I told my wife, Julie, I even told my kids, we're going to do it. I'm going to write this book and I'm going to hand it to her at her 100-year-old birthday party. That's how specific I am. I want to show you her picture because she's so cute. But I'm going to stay focused here and be with you. There is someone in your life right now who needs your book. There is someone in your life right now who wants to see you actually do it. And so it's time for you to pick a date. It's time for you to set the date of your book. We're going to pick a deadline. And I recommend that the deadline is the end of fall. The deadline's not 3 years from now or another decade, but the deadline is this fall. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick a real date. I'm going to give you a couple options. Okay. Now, it's not the book coming out, just to be really clear, because there is editing and formatting and designing and launching. There's a whole bunch of things that happen after you finish your manuscript, but writing the manuscript is what we're talking about. So literally, once I had the book written, then I could hand it to the editor. So that's what we're talking about, having a manuscript that you can hand to the editor. If you're with me, type with you in the chat. Okay, that is the goal. Type with you in the chat if you're with me. Okay, that's the goal. So we're going to pick a real goal, a real goal. Now I'm going to really challenge you here. Don't put a date if you don't need help. This is only for people who need coaching, only for people who need accountability, only for people who've been dreaming about doing it a long time and it hasn't happened yet. By you putting a date, you're saying, yes, I want you to help me do this. Like, I want accountability to actually do this. So I'm going to give you a couple examples. Okay. Number one, I think this is really powerful. I want you to picture Thanksgiving 2026. Okay. Thanksgiving 2026. End of November. Let me see. Thanksgiving 2026. When is it? You ready? It is on November 26th, 2026. So that's an easy one to remember too. November 26th, 2026. Can you imagine you're going to your family's house for Thanksgiving? They're coming over your house. Maybe you're hosting somebody. Maybe you're going to somebody's house. And they ask you, what's been going on in your life? And you say, well, I just turned in my manuscript. I just wrote my book. Wouldn't that be so amazing? Put the date in the chat. A date this fall that would be your date to say, that's the date that I would love to have my manuscript done. Okay, so first option is November 26th, 2026. Wouldn't that be so amazing? I cannot imagine. I mean, I can imagine. I'm imagining right now how cool it would be for you, Janice, who else? Tamra, Malcolm, Tina. Can you imagine? I wake up on Thanksgiving Day, we do the turkey trot. So I go run the turkey trot. Then I go check my Facebook messages and my Instagram messages. And I get a message from you, Jessica, from you, Ron. And you say, Brian, I did it. I turned in my manuscripts. And I say 2 words, Happy Thanksgiving. Isn't that so cool? Can you picture it? Okay. That's the goal. It's possible with what I'm about to share with you with our cohort. It's possible. Okay. Now, maybe for you, that feels like a little bit of a stretch. You've got a story. You're starting to get in excuse land. So maybe it's Christmas Day, 12/25/26. Can you imagine turning in your manuscript to our editors 12/25/26 before Christmas? Now they're going to take a little bit of time off, but they can at least send an email. Got it. Thank you. Turning in your manuscript before Christmas. So maybe that's you. Okay. I love it. And then finally, I'll give you one more day. One more day. This is a really fun one. February 19th. February 19th, 2027 is not technically the fall. It's a little bit of grace. If you need some space, let's give you some grace. Okay. So a little bit of extra space because maybe you're hosting for the holidays or something else is going on. You need a little bit of extra room. Can you imagine February 19th, 2027? It's the first day of our annual conference. It's when I get to see you in person. And you walk in to the church that we're hosting the conference here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I see you and you're like, hey, we've seen each other on Zoom calls because you're in the cohort. And you say, Brian, guess what? I just turned in my manuscript. And I'll give you a big hug because I'm a hugger. I don't know about you. And I'll be like, no way you did it. This is amazing. Those are your 3 options. Or pick your own date. Put your date in the chat. Put your date in the chat. What's the date that would be the dream, which is a dream, a goal, a dream with a deadline is a goal. So what's your goal date to turn in your manuscript? Okay. I love it. All right. That is one of the keys to actually getting this done. See, for Mary, for my nanny, I had to get this thing done by her birthday because her birthday comes and goes. And so that right there is the key. Having a real date. The party that we had wasn't a wish. It was a real date where real people were going to really be here. And guess what I did? I handed out the book to everybody at the party. And it was one of my favorite days of my whole life was handing out that book and hosting her 100-year-old party at our office here at our publishing headquarters. The book got written because the party was coming. The party was coming. The book existed because the date existed. You have to have a date in order to make it real. And then finally, what you need is a support structure. You need support. If you need support, type support in the chat. Okay. You need support. If you have gone to college, type college. If you have your master's, type master's. If you have a certification, type certification. If you have taken some sort of training, type training. Okay. We all know what this is like, right? You see what the program is. You learn about the program. Then you get all the information. And then you make a decision and then you pay the tuition. Information, decision, tuition. That's the steps, right? Information, decision, tuition. So if you've gotten your master's degree, I did my master's in teaching. I got the information about the master's. Then I made a decision. Yes, I'm going to get my master's. And then I paid the tuition to join the program. Okay. Information, decision, tuition. Okay. Hope Books is the same. So we call it Hope Books Essentials. And the way it works is you get the information, which I'm sharing with you today. You make a decision. I'm either in or out. And then you pay the tuition. Get it? Okay. 1, 2, 3. So what is the information? The information is a system, coaching, and community. There's 3 legs to the stool. This is how we guarantee that if you show up and we show up, we're going to do this together. You're going to actually make it happen. Okay. 3 legs to the stool. You need a system, you need coaching, and you need community. Those are 3 things worth paying for. System, coaching, and community. It's very similar to getting your master's, right? Yeah, a lot of you went to college or got training, went to seminary. That's right. Okay, so you know what this is like. You have the goal in mind. I want to get that degree. And so, you know what's so cool? Instead of a degree, it's a book. And that's so powerful. I literally, we've moved so many times, I don't even know where my degrees are. But I know where my books are. I can get them on Amazon. I can hand them to you right now. Okay. So those are the 3 parts: system, coaching, and community. Those are the 3 things worth paying for. Now, here's the thing, friends. You've tried it for free for years. If you've been trying to do this for free, type free in the chat. I've been trying to do this for free. If you've never invested in your actual book, in your writing, you've never paid for a conference, you've never paid for a coach, you've never paid for a membership, you've never paid for a course, you've been trying to do it for free, type free in the chat. Type free in the chat. Okay. That is the thing that's going to need to change. That's the thing that's going to need to change. Now, some of you have invested. You've bought a conference ticket or you bought a course, but there's something else that has stopped you from going for it. But you've already gotten started. You see the power of investing, right? One of my mentors, Michael Hyatt, says, when people pay, they pay attention. You pay your time, your talent, and your treasure. Yeah. When you pay attention. And there's 3 things worth paying for. Yeah, I know, Tracy, we've got all kinds of reasons not to do it. I know we do. We all do. I do too. We all have all kinds of reasons not to do it. Absolutely. Okay. So 3 things worth paying for. Number 1, accountability. Accountability. Leg number 1. Yeah, I'm going to go through these step by step. Okay. A system gives you accountability. There are 5 steps that we hold you accountable to. You ready? 5 steps. Yes. Yeah, Lila, maybe that's what needs to change. When people pay, they pay attention. Yeah, we went to a concert on Friday. I paid for the ticket. If the ticket was free, I could have skipped the concert, but because I paid, I showed up. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so here are the 5 steps in order. Here are the 5 steps. Dream. This is what we walk you through. So first, we're going to help you figure out who the book is for and what the book is about. Then type dream in the chat if you're with me. Okay. First step is going to be dream. It's important to slow down and give yourself some space to dream about the book, not to just start writing. The biggest mistake I see authors make is they just start writing a book with no plan. So first we're going to dream. Then we're going to build. And you might say plan, but I like the idea of build. We're going to build the plan. What's the outline? What's the structure? What's the blueprint? Then once we have the dream and the build, then we're going to write. Don't write before you know who you're writing to. Don't write before you know what the book's about. Don't write before you have the outline. I see so many people have written a lot, but it's all over the place. So step 3 is to write. Then we revise, which is where our editors come in and help you. And then we launch the book. Those are the steps we walk you through. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be simple. It can be simple. You never need to know. You never need to ask, what do I do next? So some of you have been doing this for so long that you're like, I'm never going to finish this. I'm like wandering through the woods. No, we have the yellow brick road, step by step by step by step. Yeah. If y'all can keep focused in the chat, I appreciate it. Just step by step by step. Yeah. Bethany, well, come on, be here. Okay. Leg number 2, coaching. Type coaching in the chat if you're with me. Coaching gives you clarity. Coaching gives you clarity. The difference between people who publish their book that I've found over 11 years, the difference between who people who publish their book and never finish it is one had a coach and one didn't. And we have two ways that we coach you. We coach you through group coaching. We have a live weekly group coaching call. And you also have a writing mentor who checks in on you, and you can schedule a call when you get stuck. See, coaching gives you clarity. If you need coaching type, I need that. Like, I need a coach. I need a coach to help me figure this thing out. I need somebody to help me get this thing going. Yeah, I need that. So that's leg number 2. And, yeah, see, confusion is what stops most books, not laziness. It's not that you're lazy. It's that you want to write 3 books at the same time, or you don't know what to write about. Or you have a bunch of different ideas. And coaching really removes the fog and you stop guessing. And finally, number 3 is community. Community is what gives you encouragement. Friends, the truth is writing a book is not easy, but it can be a little easier with community. It can be a little easier. So here's where community happens. We have an online community, part of Hope Authors. So when you are part of our cohort, you're in an online community where you can see the other authors. But it's not just that. We also have a group call. We call it the Hope Stages call. So there's a group call. We have a group call with everybody, and then we have accountability calls on our Hope Stages call. And then one more thing, on February 19th, you get to see the other authors in person who are part of the cohort. So those are the 4 ways that we provide community, that you get to engage in community. There's the online community, which is only the authors. Then there's a weekly group call with all the authors. Then there's an accountability call just with people at your stage. And then in person on February 19th at the Hope Story Conference. Isn't that awesome? See, writing is lonely. And that's a lot of times why it stalls. That's a lot of times when it stalls. Yeah, we do have about 10% of the books that we publish are fiction. Yeah, so we do publish fiction books. Absolutely. Yeah, mostly nonfiction, because I believe that you have a story that you have lived through. God has done something in your life. And so we're called to tell the story. But sometimes it makes sense to tell it as a fictionalized version or a fiction story. So yeah, we do publish fiction. Yeah. Google doesn't have all the right answers. So writing is lonely, and that's why it stalls. But you don't quit when people are holding up your arms. And that's the whole thing. You need a clear goal, a real deadline, and support. The support. So the goal is a book. If your goal is to have a book in your hands that you've written before you go to the grave, type book in the chat. Type book in the chat. It's maybe, actually, you know what? Maybe it's part of your calling. You really believe this is part of your calling. If that's you, type calling in the chat. This is part of my calling. Like, I'm actually here. Part of my mission is to write a book. Yeah, that's my calling. Listen, I want to help you with your calling. I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to help you live your calling. Yeah. And that's why you need a coach. So a clear goal. I want to live my calling. I want to have a book in my hand and a book in their hands. Then a deadline, which we put the date in the chat already. And then a support structure, which is our system, our coaching, and our community. And that's really it. So we have the Hope Books fall cohort, and everything that I just described, it's all in one place, and it's starting this week. This is what is inside. Is it okay if I tell you a little bit about the cohort? Type okay in the chat. Is it okay if I walk you through this so you can see how it works and what you get? Okay. Yeah. And I just don't want to be in a hurry. So I'm really here to explain it, answer your questions. There's time for questions. And I do have a bonus coming up soon as well. So this is what you get. You might want to take a screenshot of this. This is what you get in our cohort. So first you get the system. So we have literally a video for every step along the way with a little exercise. It's holding you accountable to move forward. And it's how you get your book done. It's how we've published 134 books, because there's a system. Okay. Number 2 is you get a writing mentor. You get that person who can check in on you. You kind of get your lifeline, right? Number 3, there's a manuscript deadline structure. So we help you figure out the date and what are the steps to get there, step by step by step, with like actual real dates. Number 4, group coaching. So there's group coaching, and there's these Hope Stages calls, accountability. So coaching and accountability in our community. And then finally, there's a path, step by step by step, a real book in your hands with a real team behind it. Our team takes care of everything. you take care of the writing. So you're the writer, our team is the publisher. Isn't it time for you to get a publisher? That's really the gap. I don't believe in self-publishing. I think self-publishing can be really overwhelming. You have to do it all by yourself. Trying to get a traditional publisher like I did, you have to be famous. And so what's the answer? The answer is working with Hope Books, working in a cohort, working in a community to help you get this book done. And here's a cool thing. I'm even going to give you a little bonus, right? Yeah, Hope Books is the publisher. So yeah, so Hope Books publishes your book. That's right. And we're even going to include your ticket to the conference. So when you join the fall cohort, you do get a ticket to the conference so we can celebrate you handing in your manuscript. For those of you that put a deadline to say, I'm going to hand in my manuscript by Thanksgiving, by Christmas, by February 19th, we're going to celebrate you. Type celebrate in the chat if you're with me. We're going to celebrate you. Writing doesn't have to be so lonely. Writing doesn't have to be so hard. It's worth it to invest. It's worth it to invest your time, your talent, and your treasure. And you don't just finish a manuscript, you walk into a room holding it. Can you picture this? Can you picture walking to the room saying, I did it. I finished it. I've dreamed about it for years and years and years. And now we get to celebrate together. Okay. We're going to give ourselves some grace. You don't have to be perfect this fall, but it's time to get moving. If you know it's time to get moving on your book, type time in the chat. Like, you know, it's time. It's time to get going. This is your time. Some of you are like, you know what? No, I'm going to do it later. But later, sometimes it's never. It's time. It's time. It's time. It's time. That's what I had to do. In order for me to finish my book about my grandmother, I had to say it's time. And I had to make the most of every opportunity, the opportunity that I had. There's only 2 dates that really matter right now when it comes to your book. This fall is when the cohort starts, and February 19th is when we see each other in person. So I want to cast that vision for you, right? The Bible says without vision, people perish. I'm going to cast that vision for you. So here's what I want you to do, okay? I am going to invite you. I'm going to invite you. Actually, I'm going to just change my slides. I'm going to change my plan a little bit. I don't even want you to sign up right now. What I want you to do is I want you to talk to our team. I want you to talk to our team, okay? So here's the link, hopebooks.com/call. Hopebooks.com/call. Click on that right there, hopebooks.com/call. We have an amazing team, Carly and Sarah, because what they want to do is they want to hear your story. And they have a few questions to ask you about your book. Because some of you, it's writing a full book. Some of you, you're like, I want to write 3 books, because we do have a higher level legacy package for you with even more one-on-one coaching. And some of you, maybe you just want to write a chapter, you just want to get started. And I don't know specifically, there's over 100 people here. I don't know specifically where you're at. So I would love to schedule a call with you so that our team can meet with you just one-on-one and walk you through a couple of questions. Does that sound fair? Okay. So here's what I want you to do. Click on the link right there, hopebooks.com/call, and grab a spot. They have their calendar up, and I'll show my screen in a second. And let's get you inside this cohort. The cohort, we have a welcome call on Thursday. If you can't make the welcome call, we'll record it, and then you'll be able to get on the next one. But we're starting on Thursday, and I would love you to be part of this. Okay. Hopebooks.com/call to talk to our team.